Enlightenment is the intellectual understanding. Awakening, liberation, mukti, moksha, everything is same. Awakening and liberation is one. Enlightenment is different. Enlightenment, jnana, everything is one. Understanding, everything is one. It is intellectual, purely intellectual. But we have to understand without any doubt. So doubt also coming in the intellectual part. So in the intellectual part, we have to be doubtless about our understanding.
Then how awakening will happen?
Awakening is the natural state. We need not awaken anything. So if you understand we have no work, for example, I request you to inhale your breath for a few seconds, and you inhale your breath for seconds, and you exhale your breath for a few seconds, and you inhale your breath for a few seconds, and you exhale for your breath for a few seconds. And if you do the thing for 10 times, and I will request you to make the inhaling and exhaling for 10 times, and you follow the practice, inhaling 10 times and exhaling 10 times. And I will, after 10 times it is over, and I will make you need not do anything. You stop breathing. Then what will happen? Then you will not consciously do your breathing. But if you stop the conscious breathing, the natural breathing will come. So the natural function of the mind is the liberated mind. But we are making our mind through our this way you have to go, this way you have to go. We have to order our mind to follow certain rules and regulations. So we can follow the rules and regulations to the external things. But psychologically, there is no necessary to do any regulation. But psychologically, it has to be natural. So if you give the freedom to the mind, if you do not do anything with the mind will function naturally. Just like the breathing comes naturally, the mind will also flow naturally. So natural flow for mind is awakening.
On an awakened person, any black magics will work on him physically?
Not, I don't think it will work.
It won't
but
work.
It will not work.
Emotion is a result of a stimuli. Emotion is a result of a stimuli, something like somebody is beating you or I don't know. If the stimuli is continuing, like your wife beating every day or 2 hours, or you are in torture, and you can't stop your emotions, this is, you are not enlightenment, or you are?
So enlightenment is thing not to do anything psychologically against your emotion, but not doing anything against your wife. You may do something against your wife, but don't beat your emotion. You may beat your wife. Don't control your emotion, but you can control your wife.
If we not control that emotion, means the situation is going to be against us, right? The situation may not be favor to us, means we need to control the emotion.
So you have to control the situation.
How?
With the help of your emotion, you can control. For example, you may have, you are staying in a house. You are without any person. You are alone. You are alone in a house. Some lunatic person entered into the house. On seeing the lunatic person entering into your house, suddenly you have some anger upon the lunatic person. So with the help of the anger, he can shout angrily. So he can go away from the house. But sometimes you may, instead of anger, you may have fear upon the lunatic person. So what will you do when you have the fear upon the lunatic person, but you cannot shout angrily? So you can go away from the house and seek the help of the neighbors, and all join together and send away the lunatic person from the house. For that, you can make use of your emotion. Angry is helpful to dealing with the situation. Fear also helpful to dealing with the situation. But at the same time, you need not deal with your anger, you need not deal with your fear. So that is coming for your help. You can make use of your emotion. That is different. With the help of your emotion, you can deal with the situation. For example, but suppose if you do not have, when the lunatic person enters into your house, you do not have any emotion. You do not have anger, you do not have fear. How can you deal with the person? You cannot deal with the person. Unless you have some emotion, you cannot deal with the person. So the lunatic person will go to your bed and he will simply drive away from the house. So that will happen. But here, we can make use of the emotion to deal with the situation. But the emotion itself, it is meaningless. Just like when we have when we are standing in front of the mirror, our image is falling upon the mirror. With the help of the mirror image, you can comb your hair or anything, you can shave or comb your hair with the help of the image. But at the same time, you do not comb the image of the mirror. You do not shave the image of the mirror. But we are doing the same thing. We have some work in the psychological world. Psychological world is just like the image in the mirror. We have no work. But we are trying to comb the image, we have to shave the image of the mirror. But that is not necessary. If you have to understand that we have no work in the psychological matter, with our psychological images, we set free all the images, all the emotions in the psychological matter. And when we give total freedom to the psychological structure, it goes on freedom. The total psychological structure.
Because of my emotion, someone is affected means how can we take that?
So that is the external thing. So external world is concerned. We have to be follow the rules. We have to follow the rules and regulations. What we have to do, what we should not do. But this in the external world is concerned, what is the right and wrong thing is there. We have to follow the right thing. We have to follow some principle. But psychologically, we have to understand we have no work. So, the psychological and physical will be, we are going to deal with externally. So tomorrow we'll have some elaborately. Tomorrow we'll deal with that. But today we have to find out the main thing is that what is the meaning of enlightenment, what is the meaning of liberation, what is yoga, what is the experience. So all those things, if we clarify these things, we can finish the first session. So for psychological and physical work, we can deal with elaborately tomorrow.
For a self-realized person, there is no world or no name and no form. No name and no form. It will disappear for a self-realized person.
But we have some idea like that, but that is not like that. I have also cheated by this idea for 40 years. After 40 years, I find out what is the real meaning of enlightenment, what is the real meaning of self-realization. But all those things are we are having some mystical thing like that. And one person from United States phoned me. So he told me a statement. If anybody wants to get enlightenment, we have to get enlightenment before 40 years of age. After 40 years, it is very dangerous to get enlightenment. Because when we get enlightenment, some thunderbolt will flow upon our head. It will be felt like that. But I told him that if we go beyond 40 years, then we can separate some antenna to receive the thunderbolt and humorously talk with him. But there are many things like that, but it is not so.
So, physically, no form and no name will disappear, but psychologically it may be.
Psychologically, each and every moment will have psychological form, psychological experience. It is momentary, but in the next moment it will go. Each and every moment some psychological structure, psychological emotion, psychological form, everything will come. But we connect everything with the memory that the previous state is like that and present state is like that. We are connecting the experience with the help of memory. Otherwise, if you do not connect with the memory, everything will go away very easily.
If we get some glimpses of the moment which no past is triggering, then we can say world is disappeared. No human form will disappear. We can say.
So we are anxious to make the dissolve the external world. We have to be the real external world is the real world, but the psychological world is the false world. The external world is totally real, but there are many persons there. The external world is unreal, but the external world is real. It is not false.
Then why they say world is Maya? World is illusion.
The Maya itself is a Maya. We did not worry about the Maya. Actually, the psychological, they are really meaning the psychological world. That is not the physical.
Physical.
Psychologically, it is Maya. It is moment by moment new. There cannot be any old. It is moment by moment new. There cannot be any old. Because each and every moment we are new. In the scriptures also, there are some many stories about living. One saint is doing some meditation on the bank of a river. And some milk seller women, they are crossing the river to sell their milk and curd to the villages. And they cross the river by walking along the river. But when they have to return their own village in the evening. But when they return in the evening, some flood is in the river. They cannot cross the river. So they seek the help of the saint who is doing meditation on the bank of the river. And the saint asks them to provide some food for their hunger, for his hunger. And the milk woman give curd, milk and everything, and he ate everything well, and he is free from the hunger. And after free from the hunger, they go to the river and said to the river, if I am fasting, if I do not take any food, please give way to the ladies. And the river obey and give way to the ladies of the workers. And the disciple of the saint is having some, his astonishment, he asked, what is happening here? In my own eyes, before my own eyes, you ate everything. But and he told the river that you have not ate anything. And the river also give way to the things, to the persons, as if you have for maintaining the fasting. What is happening? And also, so each and every moment, the entity through our psychological structure, the entity is moment by moment new. So the I consciousness eating the milk and everything is something old, and the asking the river to give way is something new. So moment by moment our psychological structure is new. So there is the meaning behind all those things. But many things will be said through Vedanta or anything, or some Shastri idea. So many ideas will be like that. But actually it is practically and psychologically it is very limited.
Thank you. I want to see your presence. I want to be some time with your presence. That's why I came. Thank you.
If enlightenment person get any extra power compared to the common people?
Enlightenment person will have only liberation. The extra this extra fittings or everything is only some yogic power. It has not nothing to do with the enlightenment liberation.
Yogi is different from
Yogi is different from enlightenment.
enlightenment.
Yogi plus you can do some practice. With the help of some practice, you can have some powers, some mystical power, some experience, everything. But it is only for all those things is only for the beginners. So you through some practice of anything, you can have some good experience, good ecstasy or any bliss consciousness for time being you can have. So if for example, if you have some meditation or anything, you can have some bliss consciousness. If it goes within short time, it will not be any problem. So if the ecstasy or bliss consciousness remaining with you forever, it will destroy and collapse your body. It will collapse your health also. Everything will be collapsed. So as early as possible, you have to get away from the bliss consciousness, get away from the ecstasy. So there is not, for beginners everything is good. You can have some bliss, you can have some ecstasy, everything is good. Nothing is wrong. But afterwards you have to be free from everything. You need not keep anything. In the same way, some special power, some occult power is also through some yogic power. You can practice anything with the help of some practice. You can have power. So one person from the United States, he's an Indian. He is practicing some yoga practices. So the aim of his practice is that he wants to know what will happen in the future for him. He wants to know in advance. And he practiced many things, and after the end of 12 years, he succeeded in his practice. And now he knows what will happen to him after today. Everything, whatever will happen tomorrow or day after tomorrow, he will know in advance. So he phoned his brother. He is in India. After the 12 years of practices, I succeeded what I want to attain. but he told another thing also. Nobody should not try like this. But I have caught up in a trap, as if many things will happen. But unfortunately, I have got many problems through this forcing of the thing. Because all the negative things we have in the future, we know in advance. So what is the use of, we cannot solve anything. But we know many things will happen. Whatever the wrong thing, if the right thing will happen in the future, we can have some enjoyment. We can be joyful. But some unnecessary thing will happen in the future. What is the use of knowing that in advance? So in this way, there are many things like that. And in our area, somebody is there. He has the capacity. For example, if you ask him to get some food for anything, he creates some sweet thing for yourself. He can close your hand and place the laddu or anything. He can very easily create. He can create he will materialize something and will create. But after whatever some sugar cane or anything, whatever anybody demands, he can create. He can materialize and create. But after creating all those things, he will ask, I am very hungry, please bring me something for me, for breakfast or anything. But he cannot create anything for his own use. What is the use of that? So that is the problem. So all those occult power or some ecstasy, it's just like a fantasy. There is no meaning behind that.
Whether the yoga helps for the enlightenment or no?
Yoga will not help.
Yoga.
But it will prepare. Yoga will prepare you because through preparation you will feel you cannot get enlightenment. Then you can understand through yoga I cannot get enlightenment. For that it will help.
So no need to get into any practice.
But for the beginners it is inevitable because ordinary person will not come to listen what is enlightenment. If the ordinary people will be attracted through yoga, they will not be attracted by enlightenment or liberation. Because they do not know what is enlightenment and what is liberation. If you understand what is the actual meaning of enlightenment or liberation, they will simply say, I don't want this kind of enlightenment, this kind of liberation. I want some different kind of enlightenment, different kind of liberation. That for that alone we are doing many work. But this kind of enlightenment I don't want, this kind of liberation I don't want. But only the persons who are doing many practices or anything, then only they will turn their way to the real enlightenment and liberation. So, for the beginners, it is inevitable for them to go to the meditation practices, yoga and everything. It is inevitable.
So directly we can achieve this.
But directly you can achieve, but you simply will deny, I don't want this kind of enlightenment. But you can achieve, you can directly come to the enlightenment directly without going to yoga practices or anything, you can directly understand. But at the same time, if you have some psychological stress, psychological problem, then to get away from the problem, you can come here. Otherwise, we have to, the natural way, the normal way is to go through the yoga practices. That is the normal way. Otherwise, you have to be psychologically problem. If you have psychological problem, then you can come directly without going to the yogic practices.
Even the outside, many things are around us, right? Many things are attract us. So how the emotions are, without control, we can't control our emotions. The other things attract us, means how can we deal with that situation?
So if you are psychological okay, you can very easily tackle with the external situation. So now we are going to deal with how to be psychologically okay. If you are psychologically okay, we can make everything okay. It is very easy for you to separate the external things. So first of all, we have to understand how to be psychologically okay. That is the main thing. So psychologically, you have to be psychologically okay. You have to understand you have nothing to do with psychological. So you have to separate yourself psychologically, and you find you have no work in the psychological level. In the psychological level. So here, if you demand something in the psychological level, I want this kind of experience, this kind of feeling, then we will select something psychologically. But if you do not do anything, if you don't want anything psychologically, so then only we give total freedom to the psychological level. So physically you may want, you may need something, but psychologically you should not need anything. If you do not need anything psychologically, then only you will give freedom to the psychological level. But the beginners are exempted. Beginners, we want some ecstasy, some good feeling. For the beginners, they are exempted. They can do, they can practice. That is helpful. But afterwards, we have to put on the entire psychological system as a natural system. We need not do anything.
Then we need to follow some Guruji's or else God, the way how they explained. And even Ramana also said something, you have to be, ask the question, who am I? And like that means what happens, how we can deal with that. Without hold of anything, how could we possibly reach that enlightenment?
You can make use of everybody. You can make use of everybody, Ramana or every servant or myself or anybody. And thereby you can come to understanding. Understanding is yourself. You have to understand. Ramana should not understand. You have to understand. You can make use of Ramana. Don't give the responsibility to Ramana to understand. You take the responsibility for yourself to understand. For that, for your understanding, you can make use of everybody. Everything, every aspect. You can make use of everything. For that, the main thing is that we have to understand.
So whether the enlightenment is, we are taking some foods, right? Whether it is related to any enlightenment, or else the food is also control the emotions, or else you need to take some sort of foods. We need to omit some sort of.
So that is yogi practice. In the yogi practice, some restriction is there, but here there is no restriction.
Nothing.
Whatever comes naturally, you have to give total freedom to that. If you want to maintain some good emotion, then you have to follow some food restriction. But we are not maintaining anything. We are giving freedom to whatever comes, let it come and go. So what is the necessity of food?
Before the satsang, I was reading this brochure about thought and thinking, and I want to ask a question about it. Because as far as I understood in this one, there is nothing.
Please give me a copy of that.
Yeah, it's a long term. Yeah, thought and thinking. As far as I understood, there is nothing wrong with the thought. Like thought is always arising and passing away, and we have no control over that. We just are, and from time to time some thoughts are coming and going, and we kind of shouldn't bother about it. But as I understood, there is also thinking. It's the process when we start to indulge in our thoughts. When thought is coming and we start to be with it longer, and then it becomes like bigger and bigger. And you're saying that thinking is the wrong thing to do, because if we don't indulge into thinking, thought is just coming and then it's going and it's not bothering us anymore. But a lot of times I find myself that I am really into indulging into thinking. It's like obsessive. If I fear something or if something is bothering me, then the thinking is happening. So I find a little bit of contradiction, because trying not to indulge into thinking, it's also a process of doing something. And as far as I understand you, we don't need to do anything with our psychological world. So how it is connected? Trying not to indulge into thinking, and it's also a doing for me.
For example, we met with some unnecessary event in ourselves. Somebody misbehaved you, or we lost some article or anything, thereby we have some sorrow within ourselves. So we have a repeated thought about the thing. So what you have to do with the thought? You need not, for example, if you want to trace the stolen properties, want to get back the missed property, you can do something, you can think about that. Where I have placed, why did I lost it? We have to think. For the external action, we have to make use of that. But it is also all gone. We cannot get back. So only the thought alone is remaining. It repeatedly comes. I have lost the article. I have lost the article. The thought will come. So here, let the thought come like that. We need not entertain that the thoughts should go away from me. Let the thought comes and goes. So if you give total freedom to the thought, it will come for certain times, and gradually it will diminish, and within a free hour, within a few minutes, it will go away freely from yourself. So, but at the same time, when the thought comes, you ride upon the same thought, and we have to do something to get back the thing or anything. I should not miss like that. If you consciously ride upon the thought and we blame yourself, I have misbehaved like this, then only I have lost the things. If you consciously do something, then thereby we are strengthening the thought. So we cannot get away easily from the thought. So if we give freedom to the thought, but it is only for the psychological thing, not for the physical thing. Physical thing you have to use your thinking. Thinking is necessary to deal with the external thing. But the psychological thing alone, let it be in the level of thought alone. We should not make thinking into the psychological level. If you thinking means you are consciously doing some work upon the thought. Whatever comes, it will go away naturally. But psychologically, we should not do anything.
Enlightenment is related to mukti.
Mukti and liberation are same. Enlightenment is understanding.
Oh.
In my experience, the thoughts, they don't go away within minutes. Whatever I do, I don't do. So maybe I didn't.
So each and the life duration of each and every thought is a fraction of a second. It will disappear, but it will come repeatedly.
Yes.
It may come repeatedly, but the repeated, if you do not ride upon the thought, if you do not convert the thought into thinking, it will easily go away from you.
How
If
do
you
you do this?
need not do anything, you don't do anything. If you do something, then it is a doing of something. Then it is a thinking. It is making into thinking. So we have to understand we have no work there. Let it come like that. Whether it comes or not, I don't mind that. There is a conclusion you have to come.
How to do nothing.
So understand. You have to understand you have no work there. For example, you booked a ticket for your flight. The time when you enter the airport, the flight is moving upward. Is there any duty for yourself? Finished. So you have to understand you have no work. So thought is flowing like a flight. No work for ourselves. You have to understand. It is only for the psychological, but the external work is concerned. For example, you missed your cell phone or anything, someplace, and some thought will ringing. I will miss the cell phone, and you can make use of the thought and make it convert into thinking, and you yourself consciously think where I have placed my cell phone, and you can work and you can find out. But psychologically, say externally no work, but psychological thought alone is coming. For that you find no work is there. You have to understand. You have to find out, you come to a conclusion like that.
Whether the enlightened person is related to oneness, he has any relation with
And the oneness is a kind of experience. For example, if you do some practice of yoga, you can feel everything is one. You can feel yourself. You can actually practically, you can feel like that. Everybody is one, everything is one. Whatever you see, you can feel as if you are seeing yourself. You can feel everything as one. It's an experience through yoga. But it will go away, it will remain for some times, and this experience will go away. But if the experience will remain for more than a certain period, what will happen? You will have many kind of problems within your body. So that is the thing, that is actual thing. One person in Chennai is doing some practices like this, and he will have the same experience. After doing meditation, you will feel everybody is himself, and it will for a certain period, he cannot get away from the emotion. It will become the experience, and slowly your body got many problems. and he try to get away from the experience like that. So that is the thing. Whatever we feel, everything we can have some through yoga practices or anything. You can have some kind of practice. So if it is good, if it is for time being, it is good. But if it is exceeds at some time duration, it will affect the normal health of the body.
So do you think that the people thinking that there is a purpose for the afterlife in liberation, are they wrong? Do they do a mistake thinking in that kind of way? Thinking that liberation have a meaning for the afterlife, after they will die.
Afterlife is the next life.
Yeah, after dying, like avoiding reincarnation and something like that.
So actually, when we got liberated, then we don't mind the enjoyment. We will not be going after many kind of enjoyment. So we will have some. Everything is moderate. You need not very adamant with some enjoyment. So will not be some. Will not go after any enjoyment forever. So all the enjoyment will be in moderate level. So it will not be. It will not be any hindrance. The enjoyment will not be any hindrance. It will not be. It will not be an addiction. For example, if you are interested upon some good delicious food, it will not be an addiction for that. After enlightenment, liberation, everything is as a normal person you can enjoy your food, but it will not be an addiction. So if if it is not an addiction, then you will not demand some another birth. So the demand for birth will not be there. So the demand for birth will go away from you. So that is the sign of the liberation. You will be okay with everything. If it is good, that is good. If it is not good, it is also good. You can move with anything. So in that being, you need not demand some future life. So if you select future life, then you can take birth. If you do not select birth, you need not take birth. Everything is in our hand.
It seems quite simple. Do you know why some people they need let's say 39 years in order to understand quite simple things?
But if in my case also it is not so simple, but I took 40 years for this understanding. But after this understanding I am saying that it is very simple. But previously I think it is a complicated one. So I am trying in a complicated way. But it is actually, there is no way it is necessary. It is very natural state. When it is a natural state, we do not work for that. So I come to the understanding only after 40 years. But if for practices of anything, it may take some years. But this understanding in 1 or 2 years is enough. But for that, some preparatory work is enough. Some preparatory work is needed. For that 1 or 2 years are enough. So some meditation practices, reading some scriptures, reading some spiritual books or anything. For those things, 1 or 2 years are enough. Afterwards, you can understand the real nature of enlightenment, real nature of liberation. So if you understand, for example, if you want to work anything, then we have to practice, we have to do something. But here we have to find out no work is there. So the very understanding that we have no work, for that actually life duration is not necessary. Within a fraction of a second we can come to a conclusion. So, but we have to understand without any doubt. We should not doubt about our understanding.
If a liberated person is blessed somebody, means it will work out.
That is yoga. Everything is yoga. All energy pattern, energy is flowing. Some enlightened person may also have some energy field like this, but I don't know like this. But at the same time, yogic practices create some energy field. So with the help of some energy field, we can make some change. But whatever change we create physically, it may some unnecessary reaction to the person who has created the energy field. It may be create some danger to the person who employ the energy field.
If you study or you're learning something from different sources and you have beliefs, do you have that beliefs are against, are an obstacle to liberation? Because when you have beliefs and you make in your mind a lot of theories or something like that, it's more difficult to get to liberation with that.
So bliss is a kind of some manolaya. It is a manolaya. It is some frozen state. With some frozen state alone, we can have some bliss consciousness or anything.
What is beliefs?
Beliefs. If you have beliefs, if you study, if you have a lot of thoughts, because you go to school, you went to school, this will be an obstacle against liberation, will not help you, will
some belief.
Yeah, belief. Yeah.
So belief is without any reason we can believe in anything. But here we have to understand. We have no work here. It is not a belief. Belief means we have no personal idea about anything. Somebody told us, according to him, it is so. But for myself, it is not so. It may be different. But here we have to understand. But we have to understand that we have no work here. For that we have to understand. So when you understand, the understanding will work. Belief, you have the belief will not make it. It is a doubt. It will have some doubt about that. Whenever it is in the form of belief, naturally some doubt will be there.
The enlightened person can stay always in peace.
So whatever we have, naturally we have some reaction. But here the enlightened person means we don't mind the reaction. So reaction, if you don't have any reaction, you cannot act in the world. So whatever you have some reaction. So in the reaction, it may be some negative reaction, some positive reaction. Whenever we have some reaction, then only we can act. Otherwise we cannot act. You will be in a frozen state. So, but the main thing is that we will not struggle with your reaction. Whatever may be the reaction will come and go. You will not struggle with the reaction to go away from yourself. You will not restrict yourself without having any reaction. You will not tie yourself, you will not bound yourself without having any reaction. Whatever comes, it will flow. Whatever comes, will flow like that.
Simply you need to accept.
So you have to come to a conclusion that we need not do anything psychologically. Whatever comes, let it come naturally.
So all the persons who we are all here because of everyone preached that the peace is the major thing and you have to do something like it, you will get the peace and you can lead the life without any problem, you can solve the problems, you can face the problem, the concentration you can deliver. In your future you will get the good job and anything else like that. They are all saying the same way, all the yogis.
So that is manolaya. Manolaya means you tight yourself, you bound yourself, you are bound yourself in a place. It is a fixed place. That is not a liberation. It is a bounded place. To have a manolaya. So manolaya is not a good thing. It is only for the beginners. Only for the beginners you can do some practice like this. You can have some manolaya, have some good emotion, good feeling like this. It is only for the beginners. Afterwards you are free. You should not have any bound. So you must be natural. The natural must be whatever comes will go away naturally. Good thing also comes like a flow. The bad thing also comes like a flow. Everything must be in the flowing state. That is the liberation. Liberation is different from manolaya. Manolaya, liberation is manonasa. Manonasa means the mind should not be in a state. Each and every moment it must be new. Moment by moment it must be new.
something, you can get so desire, whether it is related to all the problems or else it is not related to this enlightenment.
So desire is only for the good thing. You can have some desire. You can arrange yourself with some good desire. But after you have to be free from everything. So that means you should not keep hold of anything. Whatever, even the enlightenment or liberation itself, you should not catch hold of anything. You have to be free from everything. The freedom, the natural freedom is not catching hold of anything. You have to give freedom to everything. You should not stay in a particular place. You should not keep yourself in a particular place.
Enlightenment, right?
Through enlightenment understanding, you are not achieving anything, you have to give up everything. Not getting something, you are giving up everything. Not getting something. But we may say in the name of getting something, but actually it is not getting something, it is giving up everything. It is freedom, giving freedom to everything. Many work, for that we can make use of mind to the physical work. But psychologically we need not maintain any state. If you maintain any state psychologically, that's the problem. So psychologically you have to be free without any state. The natural state alone is itself. See, moment by moment it must be new. Psychologically, it must be moment by moment it is new. You should not maintain any state within yourself.
It is related to awareness.
Awareness may be there, but you need not worry about awareness. If you try to worry about awareness, that means you create some stand for yourself. Psychologically, you should not have any stand within yourself. Physically, you may have some stand. Psychologically, you should not have any stand, even in the name of awareness. But naturally, awareness, we cannot be free from awareness. Awareness is there. Whether you are there or not, awareness will be always there. You need not worry about there. It is not in your hand. Awareness is always there, but you don't try to have a fixed state within yourself. Psychologically, you have to be free. You should not create any state within yourself. This is a good state, I have to be there. This is a bad state, I have to be free from that. There should not be anything like that. Everything is natural. Psychologically, everything must be natural. Physically, we can do many things. We can select something good and bad. But psychologically, there is no good and bad. Psychologically, everything must be natural. Whatever comes, the next moment it will go naturally. You do not send away anything. It will go away naturally. It is a momentary state. Psychological state is a momentary state. It has to be always in a momentary state. We should not make it as a frozen state. According to the circumstances. If the circumstances needs anger, you will anger. You will have anger.
So
But everything is momentary. Everything is momentary.
anything, how can we follow your psychological treatment without any methods? Nothing is there. Means how could it is easy to follow?
So everything is helpful. Only as a foundation work you can have. Everything is good. But after that you have to go away from the foundation work. Foundation is only in the ground level. So after the ground level you have to put down everything. You have to be free. In the ground level, up to the ground level, you have to work something. You have to practice something. You can do something. Everything then only you can know what is beyond practice, what is natural. So otherwise you may have some psychological problem. You have the drive to go away from the thing, go away from yourself. In that condition, you need not go for any practice. Directly you can understand what is beyond yourself. But for other people, you can do some practice or anything. But at the same time, 1 or 2 years is enough. But several years of practice is not necessary.
Don't you think the experience of samadhi is important, sir? Because many masters stress that Swami Brahmananda says samadhi is the beginning of spirituality.
The beginning is not the end.
Yeah. And even J. Krishnamurti, he says, even though he denounces all forms of meditation and practices, he also says the timeless, immeasurable. Somewhere he says, I touch the core of the existence, like that he says. So he denotes something beyond just the mundane day-to-day. So what do you say?
But he almost covered the main thing, but he has not succeeded properly. He must have created many understand people, many enlightened persons, but he also failed because of the his teachings, some flaw in his teachings. That is the reason. Otherwise, he is 90% he is all right. 10% he did some mistake. That is why he is unable to create many enlightened persons.
Is the 10% what he was mistaken?
So some in the name of some supreme thing or anything, thereby in the beginning he said that you need not do anything. But afterwards he said something is supreme, so we have to work for that. He gives some inducement to work for our work. But actually we have to give up all our work. That's the main core of his teachings. We should not do anything psychologically. We should not do anything psychologically. But then why should he create some unnecessary thing? Something is beyond that. We need not worry about that. We should not, whatever thing, that means we do not do anything psychologically. That is the thing. He is also covered the same thing, but he unnecessarily, something is beyond. That is the unnecessary thing.
But that is what they call as fourth dimension. Isn't it, sir? So the 3 states of consciousness, then whatever the Krishnamurti says, that is the fourth dimension of consciousness.
But whenever I am also saying something, but at the same time, whatever comes, we have to be definite about it. We did not do anything. Whether it comes or not, we do not do anything. Whatever thing we have to do, that alone is important. The happening, we need not worry about the happening. Happening, anything may happen. But if you say something about the happening, then our inclination is towards the happening, not the actuality. So we have to deal with the actuality. Naturally, whatever, but when we say something about the future thing, the divinity or anything, then we will imagine. We will put our imagination towards the divinity or something beyond that. Then we are making some pictures about that, and that pictures disturb our way. So we should not have any pictures like that. But actually, the real divinity is not so as we dream of that. Actually, there is nothing. But the natural thing is that the liberation is the natural thing. Whatever comes is flowing like that. The flowing is the natural thing, but there is not the enlightenment or the liberation is not a fixed thing. It is not a frozen thing. The living thing the living state of our mind, the flowing state of our mind is the liberation. But when they say like some divinity or anything, in the name of divinity or some greatest thing, we are making some confusion about that. There is unnecessary confusion.
What about samadhi?
Samadhi is a state, is a frozen state of mind. Through some practice of anything, you can go to the frozen state of mind. Consciously, you can go to the frozen state of mind. So this samadhi state, that is yogic practices, not related to the enlightenment thing. It has nothing to do with enlightenment. Enlightenment is just intellectual understanding that you have no work psychologically. If you understand you have no work in the psychological world, then you give the psychological structure into the total freedom. Then it will function just like a free flow of a mind.
திருக்குறள் ஒன்று கேட்கலாம். தன்னுயிரை தான் அடங்க பெற்றாரை ஏனைய மண்ணுயிரெல்லாம் தோய் அப்படின்னு அல்லுவையார். He said like that. அப்போ it is possible. அப்போ அவங்க உயிரை அவங்களே அடக்கிக்க முடியுமா அப்படின்றது he said like that, right? அப்போ அது it is related to this enlightenment samadhi and
தமிழ்னு சொல்லி சொன்னாலே அதில் அர்த்தங்கள் வந்து எழுதணும். தன்னுயிரை தான் அறப்பற்றானேன்னு சொல்லி சொன்னால் உயிரை வச்சிருக்கிறானா உயிரை எடுக்கிறானாங்கிற மாதிரிலாம் வருது. இதெல்லாம் வருது.
தான் அடங்க பெற்றான்.
தன்னுயிரை தான் அடங்க பெற்றானா அறப்பற்றானா?
அடங்க பெற்றான். அடங்கிறது உயிர் தனக்குள்ளே அடங்கி
நீங்க நான் அது கூட எனக்கு அந்த மாதிரி அர்த்தம் தான் தெரியல.
இல்லை அடக்கிற மாதிரி தான் அது மொபைல் இருக்கா
தான் அறப்பற்றானையா அடங்க
பெற்றான். அதாவது யார் தான் உயிரை அடக்கிக்கிறாங்களோ அவங்க ஏனைய மண்ணுயிர் எல்லாம் எல்லா உயிரினமும் அவங்கள வந்து வணங்குவோம் அப்படின்றது அது ஒரு பொருள். சமாதி நிலைனா உயிரோடவே போய் சமாதி ஆகிறாங்க.
தன்னுயிரை தான் அறப்பற்றானே நம்ம தான் எனக்கு ஒரு நினைவு இருக்கு.
அப்படிங்களா? தான் அடங்க பெற்றாங்க. சரி, நீங்கள் மற்ற சொல்லுங்க. அறப்பற்றான அடங்க யார் அடங்கினாலும் அவங்க முன்னாடி ஒரு லிங்கம் வச்சு அதை சுற்றி வைப்ரேஷன் இது ராகவேந்திர சுவாமிகள், ரமண மகரிஷி, அது மாதிரி அத்தனை பேரும் ஜஸ்ட் லைக் தட்.
இல்லை நம்ம அந்த இதில் போகிறதுல போயிட்டே இருக்கலாம். அது வந்து என்லெஸ் கேம். We need not go to that endless game. The matter is very simple. We need not to go around beating around the bush unnecessarily. It's very simple. Actually, psychologically we have no work. If you understand psychologically, no work. Matter is over. Very simple. Within a fraction of a second.
All answer is related to one. All question is related to one answer.
But to come to this simple understanding, we have to work here and there. We have to go around there. We have to say many things. But psychologically, if you do not do anything psychologically, the matter is over. The psychological structure will function on its own. We have no work on the psychological structure.
Would you agree, this you say we have no work psychologically, would you agree that we could call this surrender the psychological mind? We could call it surrender. Surrender. It's the same thing.
No, psychological surrender. Physically we should not surrender. Physically we have to do some work. We have to take some responsibility. Psychologically surrender means, psychologically we should not have any responsibility. Surrender means surrendering the responsibility, put down the responsibility. Surrender means surrender to get something, not getting something. Surrender means to put down the entire system. We should not have any, we should not expect anything from the mind. Whatever comes naturally, we have to take it as a natural thing. For example, when we have some good emotion or bad emotion, that means we should not select the good emotion. We should not resist the bad emotion. So, surrender means we have to accept naturally. Whatever comes the natural way, it comes in the natural way. If you give total freedom to that freedom and surrender is same. Give total freedom to that. Surrender means also we are giving freedom to the natural function of our mind. So thereby the mind functions in the natural way. Whatever functions in the natural way, it will purify itself. You need not purify anything. Whatever something, it may be ugly in the beginning, but in the course of time everything will be alright. Our psychological system, psychological structure will be alright in the natural functioning, natural flowing of our mind.
Is that if you do the meditation, the vibration will also brings you whatever you want. So it is true or it is, that's what about this statement?
Whatever you bring means whatever you want.
It brings to you whatever you, what you want to get, it will brings to you.
But liberation is not getting something, it is giving up everything. But if it something gives you, then we have to get something. But the liberation is giving up everything. You have to be free from everything. You should not lock within yourself anything. So, but physically you have to do something. Psychologically, we should not keep anything for ourselves. It must be freedom. We should not get anything. We have to be free from everything. Getting freedom is different from getting something. Getting something is bondage. Give up everything is the freedom. So freedom is the highest thing. Getting something is bondage. That is liberation. That is against liberation. Oh.
Who you are?
This is the question for third day. Will you please wait for today's talk? The main topic is who am I? That is the third day topic. We are going to discuss the entire 2 hours. We have to discuss about the question who am I? That's the third day question. Today the question is what is enlightenment, and we know what is yoga practices and what is our attainment or anything. What is the meaning of enlightenment? So, but what is psychologically we understand, psychologically that means you do not get anything. Psychologically if you do not get anything, we are giving freedom. So the freedom alone is the natural thing, is the highest thing. That is the liberation. That is the freedom of our mind. The natural, the free flow of our mind is the highest thing. For that we have to understand. We have no work that way.
Aradaya. Tannuir Tanara Petrani.
Tannuir Tanara Petrani. What is the difference between enlightenment and liberation? This is examination.
Integration.
Integration. What What is the difference between enlightenment and liberation?
In liberation, it is integrated.
Liberation is
In liberation, the understanding that you call enlightenment is integrated into the whole.
enlightenment is what?
Enlightenment is the understanding that
Understanding what?
there's no psychological work.
No psychological work.
And when this is integrated, then it becomes.
Integration is liberation. Liberation, we can use the word integration, but enlightenment is different. Enlightenment is psychological. We have to understand. We have no work. That is, it is not integration. It is intellectual conclusion, intellectual understanding. That we have no work. So if you psychologically understand we have no work, the integration will follow. Then you integrate with what is happening. You are not deviating with anything. You integrate with what is happening. The integration is happening. The integration is liberation. That we can say like that.
Liberation is complete freedom.
Freedom to what? Psychologically. Psychologically freedom. Physically, it is not physically. Physically, you have to do something, we have to have many responsibilities. But psychologically, what is happening, whatever is happening, we have to give freedom to that. We should not select anything. This is good, this is bad. There is no good or bad in the psychological world. Everything is natural. Whatever comes in the natural world, in the natural way, it is natural.
Going back to your question, enlightenment meaning understanding, so it's a process of mind, and after that then come the freedom because you understand that you mustn't do anything. Yeah, it's some natural one from another.
Unable to follow.
Yeah, sorry. So enlightenment
Enlightenment is understanding.
meaning understanding.
Understanding.
If you understand, the freedom will come, the liberation will come because you understood that and you understand that you have nothing to do. Sorry?
But after understanding the enlightenment, the liberation is natural.
It's natural.
But liberation is natural. But the main thing is our work is finished only with the understanding. The understanding is over. We need not worry about the liberation. We need not worry about the liberation. Liberation is natural. In the liberation, good thing may come, bad thing may come, good emotion may come, bad emotion may come. That is different. But we have no work there. It will have in the natural way. So whatever comes in the natural way, everything will be natural. So the liberation is natural. But understanding some work is on our part. We have to work, we have to inquire, we have to question, we have to work out many things, and we have to come to a conclusion that we have no work in the psychological functioning. If you understand that we have no work in the psychological functioning, the psychological function takes the freedom. The psychological function freely.
This is freedom, no?
The enlightenment is, they are talking about while doing meditation, 7 chakras. This all comes in straight line and this comes here, Turiya, and you got enlightenment like that. Yes, they are saying.
Some light may happen here, but it is not enlightenment. Some different kind of light may happen, but it is not enlightenment. But that all chakras dhyana, it may have some energy field we can create. With the help of energy, you can create something. some good emotion, good feeling you may have, some power you may have. But after getting the power and the emotion, you feel everything is useless and meaningless. Before that, you can have some urge towards that. But when you got the power, got the emotion, like everything, you feel everything is meaningless. But the enlightenment is different. Enlightenment is not having some. It is a meditation technique. All you say is meditation technique, yoga practices. But if you want some power, you can do some this.
But is not it true that when you get enlightenment, according to you, you are psychologically free, your mind is functioning freely, your energy also get aligned accordingly?
Maybe, let it be, some energy may be, but at the same time, we are not having a frozen state. For example, when you do some yogic practice or anything, you may have some tuning within yourself, you may have some ecstasy for yourself. When you have some bliss consciousness, if somebody misbehaved you, will not have any anger. You will not have any tension within yourself. If you feel, if you are doing any work in the external world, it may create some tension within yourself. But if you are in the ecstasy state, no, you will not have any tension. You will locked within your ecstasy state.
Even when you are joyful, you will not have tension. It need not be ecstasy. Even if you are joyful, you will not have tension.
So joy is ecstasy. There is no difference between joy and ecstasy. Ecstasy and joy is same.
So enlightenment is not against joy.
So enlightenment is not only against joy, it is not against tension itself. Enlightenment means accepting everything. You have no work. Whatever comes naturally, let it come. But whenever it is coming, it is flowing.
So there is no resistance.
No resistance to
anything. That means
not
in a way joy.
Not only resistance, but keeping hold of anything, not keeping hold of anything, not resisting anything, not catching hold of anything, not resisting anything. So that is a sign of enlightenment. So if you don't want anything psychologically, you do not deal with anything in special way. This I don't want, this I don't want. But we give freedom to everything. Whatever comes, let it come on its own way. Let it go on its own way. We are giving freedom to the natural functioning of our mind.
As you told, like when the glass of water is disturbed, if you want to balance it, you cannot balance it. But if you leave it like that, then it will get balanced after some time, right?
No, balance is natural.
Yeah, it will happen after some time.
Yeah.
If you don't resist or you don't try to move or anything.
Yeah.
So when you don't do anything with your body and you reach that balanced state, then also your energy and everything also gets balanced. So as a result, you also get that. So you can approach it maybe either way.
So actually the balance is not necessary, because sometimes when you are moving in the world, some imbalance is also necessary. You have some anger, you may have some tension, everything is necessary. Then only you can act. You can have some fear, you can have some anger, everything is needed.
You can act out of intelligence also without being angry or
so angry means it will just like an ordinary person. So at the same time, it may have some, even though we have some anger, it will have some moderate. Everything is moderate, but sometimes you can make use of that in full extent. So everything is under his control. For example, if we have some anger, he will not go out of control. Everything will be under his control. He can make use of anger, make use of fear, everything he can make use of that. But at the same time, we need not keep ourselves without any emotion. We must keep ourselves in a balanced state. But if you try to keep ourselves in a balanced state, that is the process of yoga. In the yoga process, you can make yourself in a balanced state. But that is not a good state. But it is a state, but it is not a liberated one. Liberation is freedom from all states. We should not keep hold of any states. We have to give freedom to the mind. Naturally, some state may come that we do not have any psychological attachment to any state. We do not prefer peace is a good thing, tension is a bad thing. Everything is good. Everything is natural. Because when you come to a conclusion that psychologically everything is good and natural, then only the natural flow will be there. If we select this alone is good, this is bad, then we have some selection. So psychologically we must be freedom. We have to give freedom to everything.
Why we need that liberation, enlightenment liberation? You said everything is acceptable, then why that liberation, why the enlightenment? Nothing. You don't want anything also, that also.
So when we are liberated beings, that is actually that is the correct state of our mind. That is the natural and correct state of our mind. That is the healthy state of our mind. So whoever denied the healthy state of our mind, the liberation is the healthy state of mind. If you receive anything, you are receptive with anything, that means you destroy your mind. You are conditioned with the mind. So you are somewhat affected. You will be affected if you are unable to receive, you are unable to free from anything. So the freedom alone is the healthy state of mind.
It's like child.
Child, it does not have any knowledge about the good and bad. But even though when you have the total knowledge about good and bad, still you have the innocent state, that is liberation. That is enlightenment. Only because of our enlightenment alone, you can consciously become the child. Even with the help of our mind, you can be in the child.
This he follows meditation and he gives that dynamic meditation. And whether he is a liberated person, just I ask this question. So
I don't know him personally, but he said many things.
Yes.
Good thing also he has said about many things, and unnecessary thing also he said many things. But I do not know anything about him personally. But if you do anything, any meditation, it is only for the beginners. But if you do going on doing meditation, then you are keeping yourself in the beginning stages. You have to get away from that. You have to go away from that. You have to go beyond that.
because he explains Shiva Sutra 112 methods to how to be liberated on the way. They are explaining 112 ways, different ways it is. Out of one is the Saranagati, you need to be surrendered.
So whatever it be, you have to be free from that. That's the main thing. Whether he told you in a good way or bad way, let it matter. But we have to be free from that. We have to get, we have to understand, we have to be enlightened. If you understand, you have no work. Because we need not create liberation. Liberation is already there. We have to understand that we have no work.
the fate will affect the enlightened person or liberated person. Fate. Is that fate is that? Or is it fate?
Fate is a separate thing that we can discuss in the fourth day. That is the fate of this session. That is the miscellaneous one. But anyhow, in the last day we can entertain all questions.
Who according to you are the liberated beings?
Beg your pardon?
Who according to you are liberated persons or beings?
According to me,
You, yeah.
we
Who are liberated?
who are.
Yeah. Like examples of liberated.
So liberated persons are many persons. There are many masters, many persons. Everybody is liberated. Buddha, liberated, Ramana, everything is liberated. But the explanation, teachings may be different. But they are themselves liberated.
But so what they said, you are also saying the same thing, but in a different way.
The enlightenment liberation is same, but they are approaching it in a different way. But the main thing is that if anything is said, the other thing has to understand by the words. Thereby you can enlighten yourself. With the relying upon the words, you can enlighten yourself. That's the main thing. The enlightenment liberation is one thing. Ramana or many masters got the enlightenment. But everybody telling their ways to the other persons. But by relying upon the statements, relying upon the teachings, you have to get the state. Then only it will work. Otherwise, what is the use of teaching or enlightenment? Because for themselves it is okay. Enlightenment, liberation for themselves, there are many masters. There are many masters, many persons got enlightenment for themselves. But they cannot they cannot make other person enlightened. So Ramana or some limited persons around talk with the other person and try to enlighten other persons also. They each and everybody follow their own way, own terminology, and such kind of terminology may make other person enlightenment. Somebody may be confused with the statements. So whatever thing is that we have to be enlightened. For that we can make use of everything, every circumstances, every teachings. We have to find the truth of that. Because basically every teachings joins in a single point, and we have to understand the single point, and we have to find out what we have to do, what we should not do. And if you make everything useful, we can very easily understand what is enlightenment and what is liberation.
Like Ramana said, silence is the highest teaching. Like even if you sit near a jnani, then
but I myself has followed Ramana for 40 years.
Yeah, but he was saying like if you sit near a jnani, then you get.
So some communication, some problem with the communication. He may told in a right way, but I may not be receptive in a good way, in a right way. So we have to meet. The speaker and the audience must meet. Then only we can have the transference of idea. The idea can be transferred. So the understanding can be transferred. So the understanding must be transferred. That's the main thing.
So the enlightenment can be attained by three ways: by truth, by knowledge, by love. So on which way it is?
Only knowledge alone it is possible.
Only knowledge.
You have to inquire. You have to inquire to understand. You have to find out. Everything is only through knowledge. You have to from the intellectual process. Through the intellectual process alone, you have to understand. Because here liberation is already there. Liberation is the highest thing for which we did not do any work. For that you have to understand. For where we are unnecessarily making some work. The unnecessary work alone distract ourselves from the actual thing. But actually we did not do anything. For that we have to understand. If you understand that we have no work on the process of liberation, everything is there. We need not work. For that we have to understand. The understanding will stop our working, stop our search, everything will be, because the natural functioning of our mind is liberation.
One prominent master says enlightenment or liberation is just a small fraction of the inner quest. There are many other dimensions to it. Like that he says. So what is your...
Not possible. But many times, yoga is different. If you
Because liberation is just a small thing. You don't need to have much effort or inquiry into that in quite easily I think. But the inner quest is much faster than just enlightenment, he says.
What the inner quest means?
Inward
So actually, even the scriptures also says liberation is the highest thing. No other thing is more than the liberation. Liberation is the highest thing.
He says you can just go to the very source of your creation.
So yogic process is different. Yogic process, there are many stages. But in the enlightenment...
Even in the non-yogic process like Jai Krishnamurti, he also speaks. Yesterday in my meditation, I touched the very source of the creation. He says somewhere like this. So even in the non-yogic process, the jnanis speak like that. Like they touch the very source of the creation like that.
So whenever you create some future for your attainment, then you are psychologically create some stand for yourself. Then you have to work for that. So whenever you work for something to be attained, then you are caught. Then the problem will be continued. So you cannot be liberated. Actually, the liberation is free from all our end. We should not have any end in the psychological field. We have to finish with everything. We should not have anything. We should not have any. So that is the mistake committed by many masters like that. As if something is more, something is. But he himself said we should not attain anything. There is the future. The truth is not in the future. It is here and now. He is also saying like that. But he makes us understand, doubt that something is more beyond ourselves. But actually, there is nothing beyond ourselves. We have to finish the future. Then only everything will be there. Otherwise, the searching will be endless. Life after life, you can search for yourself.
Nothing is beyond us. Something is beyond us. It's all functioning because of something beyond us, right?
So through there are many things there, but here liberation is purely psychological. But in the psychological level, we have to be free. So that is the highest thing you have to attain. But for example, if you go to the Vedanta scriptures or anything, they will tell you many things. How the world has come, how the Jiva has come, how the God has come, how the God created the Panchabhuta and everything. But they don't say you have to understand all those things. I told you that you have to accept. That's the thing. But what they trying to say that you have to understand yourself. You have to understand that you are the main thing. You have to understand your Atma. So that alone is the main thing the scriptures say. That also is different, that the understanding that I am Atma is that I am not Anatma. That is the main thing. Anatma is our consciousness. That we are going to be in, we have to discuss all those things we elaborate in the third day session. The third day session, what is Atma, what is Anatma, what is, who am I, everything we have to, that's a separate topic that we have to discuss in the third day. Let us complete today, and tomorrow we will meet 10 o'clock.